Okay, so welcome to another video right here on FE Builds. It's good to be with you. It's an awesome video that we're going to be doing today. We're going to be building Mando the Jeep, and we're going to be putting a new suspension in because the undercarriage of this car is quite rusted, but not that bad. Luckily, it's just surface rust. However, the suspension was gone. So we decided we're going to put in this ToughDog set because it was the cheapest we could get. And also it's adjustable, and I believe it's foam cell technology, which is old now, but it's still good. I mean, we're trying to keep this build as cheap as possible. We don't want it to become too expensive, and we want to have fun at the same time. ToughDog is a very nice product. I know it's going to last long. I've had it on one of my other vehicles, and it's been good. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we install the new shocks. So we always start by measuring the suspension before, and as you can see, this is the front right. We're measuring in at 74.5 centimeters or 745 millimeters. And we measure from that bottom piece of the rim where we're pointing just now. This is the rear right. And this is measuring in at just about 735 centimeters. This is the rear left, measuring in at about the same, 735 millimeters. And this is the front left, measuring in at 75 centimeters. So now we're going to take off the wheels, we're going to drop the suspension, take out the rims, and it's very easy to do this with the Jeeps. However, you do have to set the steering angle sensor after you do this, especially if you're going to lift it beyond a certain point, because that will obviously go out. Solid axles back and front, you're going to be dealing with steering angle sensor issues after you do a lift. One thing we are for sure going to do on this car is rust treatment. So it's going to be ice blasted, and then the undercarriage is going to be treated. Luckily, it's just surface rust, and we're going to treat that. That's why we've taken off the front and the rear bumper. And we don't want to over invest in this kind of build. There's some builds which are legacy builds that you're going to keep forever and you can get the money back. But then there's other builds where, it's just a money hole. It takes your life savings, and you don't want to over invest. You don't want to put what you don't need in there. The nice thing about this specific one is we bought a Rubicon, and it's got a disconnectable sway bar. And that disconnects with the push of a button in the car. And it's also got working front and rear lockers, which is really good. So I'm really happy and excited about that. But just can't wait for the rust to be taken off so that we can go to the next stage in branding and just renewing and refurbishing this car. But as you can see, we just lift up the car and we take out the springs and the shocks. And look how bad that shock absorber is. It is literally gone. It's almost as if this car lived in the ocean or something. It's almost like they pulled it out from under the ocean. Look at that shock, and look at that. It's all going to be blasted off. It's going to be cleaned. It's going to be very nice and clean. So this is a before video also, showing the rust before, and we'll also have a video showing it after. So you can see all this rust, and it was quite a mission. We had some instances where the bolts on the shocks actually broke off because they were so rusted. So luckily we checked the major components like these C-hubs. They're not cracked, and the rust is not too deep. We can deal with it. But we are going to put as much effort as we can and keep this build as cheap as possible, because we also want it to be enjoyable and not break the bank. So here's a clip of the new shock that's going in. It's a 2-inch lift shock, and there's the adjuster at the bottom. It's advisable for the first few clicks. The first 3 clicks are for off-road, and the rest of the clicks are on-road. So in order to make it tighter, you turn it clockwise, or to make it firmer, you turn it clockwise. To make it softer, you turn it anti-clockwise. So currently, because there's a lot of potholes in Africa, and basically even tar roads are basically like off-road in America and other parts of the world, I keep it on number 1 all the time. Unless I'm on a very, very nice highway and I want to go fast and I want to keep the car from swaying. So there we go, the new springs are fitted, and there's a little notch at the bottom of the spring where the end of the spring sits in. The thing I like about these ToughDog springs is they retain their level. They don't sag, they don't get compressed and lose their shape. The old springs were so bad that the tip had actually broken off on this particular spring. I'm going to compare the 2 springs now. You see, this is how it should look. Now you see at the top there, look at the top section over there. It had actually broken off. So it's good that we replaced the springs and the shocks. I think it was about time. And I think it's going to give us some decent life after we've done this now. At the back you can see the new springs installed, and they're running well. They fit so well, they're so comfortable. I took a drive with it and it is amazing. So over here we have the whole rear suspension fitted, and this is also a benchmark video showing how the rear undercarriage looked before the rust treatment. And I'm actually quite excited for when we get it back. But this is also a stark reminder that we should look after the under of our vehicles, because it does matter, and over time, especially if you live in coastal regions, it will get rusted. Okay, and we are back with the measuring again, and we're at the front right, and you can see it's gone up to 81.5 or 81 centimeters, which is 810 millimeters. This is the rear right, and it's gone up to, let's call it 80 centimeters or 800 millimeters. This is the rear left. It is about the same height, 800 millimeters or 80 centimeters. And this is the front left, and it has gone up to 82.5 or 82 centimeters or 820. And there we go, Mando is reversing out. As you see, we have taken off all the bumpers, and is going to go in for a nice clean, and it's going to look awesome. He's got his LEDs on, and this is a nice test drive that I'm doing just to see just how comfortable the new shocks are. They are still breaking in. There's a 500 kilometer break-in period, so you're going to get the SAS light for the first 500 kilometers, and then we're going to reset that and get that sorted. So I was just helping it to break in by going in a bit of a section of off-road that I know. not far away from where I live.